I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort Honorable Mr. Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India, Designate, and Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, to the dais. Members of the bar, advocates who are standing outside the gate, they can take seats upstairs. They can sit upstairs also. There's a place upstairs also. I welcome Honorable Justice B.R. Gavai, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India Designate, Learned Attorney General for India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Honorable Judges of the High Court, and retired Judges of the High Court, Learned Solicitor General of India, and law officers, Vipin Nair, President, Amit Sharma, Vice President, and Nikhil Jain, Secretary, SCORA, senior advocates, and members of the bar. I welcome each and everyone present here. I request Mr. Manish Mohan, Member Executive, SCBA, to present bouquet of flowers to Honorable Mr. Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai, Chief Justice of India. Thank you, Melissa. I request Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, Member Executive SCB, to present bouquet of flowers to Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India Designate. Thank you, Mukesh. I request Mr. Rohit Vats, Member Executive SCBA, to present bouquet of flowers to Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India. Thank you, Rohit. I request Ms. Rachna Gandhi, Member Executive SCBA, to present bouquet of flowers to Mrs. Tejaswini Bhushan Gavai, wife of Honorable Mr. Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai, Chief Justice of India. Thank you, Rachna. Today we gather here to bid farewell to a judge who has been more than a constitutional authority, a guide, a guardian, and a gracious presence for the entire Supreme Court bar. Honorable Chief Justice B.R. Gavai has always stood out for one simple but extraordinary quality, the ability to treat every person, junior, senior, staff, litigant, even mischievous and errant advocate, with a respect, dignity, and gentleness. In your Lordship courtroom, no voice was ever too small, no mistake ever too big, and no lawyer ever felt invisible. Your Lordship's support to the Supreme Court Bar Association has been unwavering, whether it was a welfare initiative, infrastructure improvement, or strengthening the bench and bar relationship. Your Lordship always recognized the SCBA as an essential partner. I can personally vouch for that, as my journey as Secretary of SCBA commenced soon after Justice Gavai assumed the office of the Chief Justice of India. As you reflect on your Lordship journey, a few lines that capture the emotion of this moment. कुछ लोग अल्फाज से नहीं अपने व्यवहार से दिल जीतते हैं, कुछ लोग पद से नहीं अपनी विनम्रता से बड़े बनते हैं। राहें जुदा होंगी अब, पर यह रिश्ता नहीं टूटेगा। आपकी सादगी, आपकी गरिमा हमारे दिलों में सदा रहेगी। My Lord, the bar will remember your smile, your gentleness, your fairness, and above all, your deep respect for every member of this institution, and your special way of saying thank you, thank you. And as your Lordship complete this remarkable tenure, the baton now passes to Honorable Justice Surikant, Chief Justice of India, designate. We are blessed that leadership of this great institution moves from one kind and compassionate judge to another. Honorable Mr. Justice Surikant ji is also known for his warmth, his accessibility, and his progressive vision. We are sure that the Honorable Justice Surikant will equally be friend, philosopher, and guide to the bar. With this, I request Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President of SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Mr. Justice B.R. Gavai, Chief Justice of India, family members of Justice Gavai, his wife Dr. Tejaswini Gavai, his son Dr. Mr. Jyotiraditya Gavai, Honorable Mr. Justice Surikant, Judge Supreme Court and Chief Justice of India designate, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, other law officers, Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Pragya Baghel, Secretary SCBA, Mr. Vipin Nair, President SCORA, Mr. Amit Sharma, Vice President SCORA, Mr. Nikhil Jain, Secretary SCORA, senior advocates, and my fellow colleagues at the bar, a very good evening to you all. On behalf of the whole Executive Committee, I welcome you all. Today we have gathered here for the farewell function of Honorable Mr. Justice B.R. Gavai, Chief Justice of India. He was born on 24th of November 1960 in Amravati, Maharashtra, and studied at a primary municipal school in Amravati, and thereafter studied at Holy Name High School in Mumbai. After earning degrees in commerce and in law from Amravati University, he joined the legal profession in 1985 and started working with Raja S. Bhosle, former Advocate General and Judge of the High Court. He practiced independently at Bombay High Court from 1987 to 1990. After 1990, he practiced mainly before the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court and was standing counsel also. He was standing counsel for the Municipal Corporation of Nagpur, Amravati Municipal Corporation, and Amravati University. He was appointed as Assistant Government Pleader and Additional Public Prosecutor in the High Court of Judicature at Bombay Nagpur bench from August 1992 to July 1993. Later, he was appointed as a Government Pleader and a Public Prosecutor for the Nagpur bench on 17th of January 2000. He was elevated as an Additional Judge of the High Court on 14th of November 2003. On 12th November 2005, he became a permanent judge of the Bombay High Court. After serving as a High Court judge for 14 years, he was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 24th May 2019. And on 14th May 2025, he was sworn in as the 52nd Chief Justice of India. Though Justice Gavai wanted to become an architect, but his father, late Shri R.S. Gavai, who led the Republican Party of India faction and had been an MP and Governor of Bihar, Sikkim and Kerala, wanted him to study law. When his name was recommended for the post of High Court judge, his father told him, if you remain a lawyer, you will only chase money. But if you become a judge, you will walk the path of B.R. Ambedkar and serve the society. He is a very popular person wherever he either practiced or was a judge, be it this court, Bombay High Court, Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court, or the Aurangabad bench of the Bombay High Court. His popularity can be seen with the full house over here, even the members are standing. All the advocates coming from there or practicing here have something good to say about him, the way he always conducted his court. In his tenure of more than 6 years as a Supreme Court judge, he gave many landmark judgments and was part of the Constitution bench related to electoral bonds, Article 370, demonetization, then presidential reference, which we had just 2 days back, All India Judges Association case related to seniority in higher judicial service. He brought many reforms related to judiciary also, and passed many judgments related to environment and wildlife also, something which was very close to his heart. His life is an inspiration for everyone that with hard work you can achieve everything, as he rose from studying in a municipal school and reached the highest office of Chief Justice of India. On administrative side, On administrative side, Justice Gavai was always approachable to discuss the problems of the bar. He would always say that bar and bench are equal stakeholders. Justice Gavai, along with Justice Suryakant and Justice J.K. Maheshwari, were the members of the Chamber Allotment Committee when 500 lawyers were allotted chambers in D Block additional building complex. And a demand to build cubicles on ground floor, first floor, and third floor in D Block was accepted 3 years back. So 300 members got chambers because of Sir and Justice Suryakant and Justice Maheshwari. He was also part of the judges committee when the decision was taken to give this auditorium 3 years back, where we are having this function today for the members of the bar. In fact, he would always say that when in Bombay High Court, courtroom can be given for the lectures organized, then why can't this auditorium be given to the bar for the functions of the bar? He would always say that the bar should be taken into confidence when there are infrastructural issues related to bar. In fact, 3 years back when I was secretary of the bar and Justice Gavai was part of the building committee of the honorable judges along with Justice Suryakant and other honorable judges, the project opposite Court 10 was shown to the whole executive committee where new courtrooms would be made and a bigger library, waiting area, canteen for the members of the bar would be there, and hopefully that project would be completed next 2-3 years. Before taking any major decision as CJI, Justice Gavai liked to take the full court in confidence. After taking as CJI, the decision was taken in full court of the practice of letter circulation again and removing glass ceilings in front of Court 1 to 5. The shifting of issue of museum was also discussed in the full court, and hopefully it is shifted soon. We hope it is done now in the tenure of Justice Suryakant from the main Supreme Court compound, and the place can be utilized for the facilities for the members. He is an exceptional human being, which can be seen the way he would treat even the junior most person in his office. Whenever we would go, we would see even how he would treat a PN also. That's something to learn from him. Justice Gavai has always said that the office of Chief Justice of India is not an office of power, but an opportunity to serve the society and to serve the nation. As he steps away from judicial office, Justice Gavai leaves behind the Supreme Court enriched by his intellect, strengthened by his administrative clarity, and elevated by his moral vision. We wish him happiness, good health, and fulfillment in this new chapter of life. On behalf of the entire bar, we express our deepest respect and gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice B.R. Gavai for his unwavering service to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Now I request Mr. R. Venkatam Neelan, Attorney General for India, to kindly deliver his address.
We gather today in a packed hall with our minds and hearts in a solemn mood to express our deepest regard and warm feelings for the Chief Justice Gavai as he takes leave of all of us under the Supreme Court. Honorable Justice B.R. Gavai, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice Designate, esteemed judges of the Supreme Court, my dear friend, Solicitor General of India, learned additional Solicitor Generals, President and Office Bearer of Supreme Court Bar Association, my dear colleagues and members of the bar, and friends and family members of Chief Justice Gavai. When he's about to take leave of us, his tenure has been marked by a remarkable yet quiet contribution to the cause of justice. He has authored opinions of indelible value and continued relevance in advancing several seminal constitutional values, from free speech to national integrity, from the right to shelter to ecological preservation, from political accountability to improving conditions of service for judges, always remaining alive to the principles of judicial independence and separation of powers. Did he ever place personal projections above humility? Did he ever believe that public acclaim of what is done is more important than what truly needs to be done? The answer to both is a clear no, and that is what gives him a special place in the chronicles of this court, especially at a time when the court is increasingly called upon to tackle an extraordinary range and wide range of issues of public policy, etc. Simplicity and humility are virtues of the highest order, regardless of the position one holds. More so when one assumes the highest ladder of the public life. Chief Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai embodies these virtues effortlessly. Many anecdotes could be narrated about his journey from a municipal school in Amravati, one can imagine the conditions in which he studied. And later in Mumbai, I can easily visualize the thoughts of aspirations and purposes that must have occupied his young mind as he observed the social conditions around him. The inspiring presence and emancipatory ideals of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, working strongly through his father, would undoubtedly have shaped his understanding of our social political milieu. Both as a judge of the High Court of Mumbai and a judge of the Hon'ble Court, he's been called upon to deal with multitude of issues and subjects. And certainly, with remarkable craftsmanship, it must be said that he has not only displayed conscientiousness and commitment, but true to the oath taken by the judge, his mind has worked without fear or favor and has always been in search for what great academic Ronald Dworkin called the search for the right answer. We cherish our journey in association with Chief Justice Gavai because we find the relentless search for the right answer has always been the driving force behind him. Like many of us who did not have the luxury of being educated in elite institutions and rubbing shoulders with the creamy layers of society, Chief Justice Gavai has journeyed through the ordinary run-of-the-mill educational institution. But having done so, and thereafter, to be able to develop keen and deep insights on the working of the law, particularly in contemporary times, where there are manifold challenges in doing justice, is not an ordinary feat. We are told you wanted to be an architect. Architects of buildings occupy a limited canvas. Architects of law and justice create a larger canvas. You rightly chose to be a part of this larger canvas. On scanning his contributions in the Bombay High Court, one finds your mind constantly searching for the right answers. The AAR compilation of his judgments runs into several hundred decisions spread over more than 50 pages of index, alphabetically from A to Y and subject-wise from A to T. There is hardly any major area of law that has not been touched by his pen. While constitutional law, criminal law, and service law occupy a substantial portion, as they should be, his judgments in civil law, education, and municipal matters are equally rich and relevant. A diligent student could comfortably attempt a doctoral thesis on his body of work. In our discourse, we often admire judicial activism and look askance at quieter contributors. But must those who steadfastly uphold the fundamental values of our constitutional structure and who refuse to tear its fabric for momentary applause not to be regarded as the bright stars in our constitutional journey? Chief Justice Gavai may not be described as an activist judge in the expanded sense of the term, but he was a craftsman, quietly playing with the clay, as they say, shaping the law in ways that truly matter. The great Judge Benjamin Cardozo, in his seminal work, Nature of Judicial Process, observed thus: the work of a judge is in one sense enduring, in another sense ephemeral. What is good is it endures. What is erroneous is pretty sure to perish. The good remains a foundation on which the new structures will be built. The bad will be rejected and cast off in the laboratory of the year, unquote. I can make a statement without being doubted that Chief Justice Gavai has laid down many foundations on which new structures can be built. Corruption in public life is a grave menace to accountability and good governance. When he held that a high-ranking minister must face prosecution, he simply served that larger cause with clarity and conviction. Perceptions may differ on the right or wrong of such opinions, but it's important to go beyond partisan consideration when you look at opinions such as this. So also turning down a plea passionately made before the court to ask the Union of India to invoke its emergency powers in the state of West Bengal was a wise and mature restraint in not using the power of the court in domains which are alien to court management. The struggle for equality and equal participation, social, economic, and political, deserve constant and close attention beyond the political rhetoric. The need for the brick-by-brick building of the equality mansion is also a great challenge. I have in mind a judgment which dealt with the question of subclassification among scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and found the need for doing so. Restraint in matters of policy-making issues did not halt Chief Justice Gavai from ever being attentive to liberty issues. The bench led by Chief Justice Gavai found it difficult to agree with the view of the Gujarat High Court in rejecting bail to a social activist. So also the view of another bench which found a 2-year jail term in the context of allegedly defamatory statement made by a public person against the Hon'ble Prime Minister was opposed to reason. Chief Justice Gavai's engagement in enhancing the importance of conditions of service of judges at all levels will be one of the finest contributions which can one always hold in esteem. While assisting the court in some of the matters, I found the Chief Justice Gavai's approach is at the heart of the matter, without being unduly drawn into doctrinal or intellectual arguments. I've been personally benefited by learning the pragmatic wisdom behind such an approach. In a contempt proceeding, as I read yesterday, in Ramnath so Justice Gavai felicitously propounded that a contempt proceeding is not like any other execution proceeding. Recently, when all of us knew that an ill-informed member of the legal fraternity and ill-advised tried to engage in a scandalous conduct in the court of Honorable the Chief Justice, and when the entire legal fraternity was rightly aghast at such a scandalous conduct, Chief Justice Gavai, true to the highest level of dignity and statesmanship, did not think that the conduct of the advocate should be subjected to contempt scrutiny. I received a larger number of requests for giving sanction to prosecute the advocate concerned under contempt proceeding. A very difficult thought which troubled me was when the Honorable Chief Justice had been so magnanimous and forgiving, should I look at the incident from an narrow lens or angles altogether? He has by all scores set high standards of objectivity and balance. The younger members of the bar were always eager to seize an opportunity to address the court and to walk with good prices. Every engagement of mine in Chief Justice Gavai's court was an opportunity for learning and underscoring the importance of judicial contribution to national development. Professor Madhav Menon, before he left his mortal body, had asked me to work on an important cause, namely lawyers for social justice. Yesterday, while I was at the Skora farewell function, I made a request to Chief Justice Gavai to lend his time and services for this noble cause. I am sure he will listen to my appeal and spare his valuable time whenever needed. If you don't make a remark about what I mentioned yesterday in the Skora speech, namely the inimitable and bewitching smile which Chief Justice Gavai naturally carries, I would be incomplete. I would not mind asking him to pass the secret of such an inimitable smile and share it with us, which must also take the opportunity of appreciating the quiet and silent partner of Chief Justice of India, respected Ms. Tejaswini Gavai, who is accomplished enough to be a great teacher. With her knowledge of law in fields of forensic sciences, she may as well take a teaching job in the National Forensics University, and I'm sure Chief Gavai will be a willing partner for that request. We wish the happy family of Chief Justice Gavai a great life ahead and many more contributions to public weal and welfare. Today morning in the court, in the ceremonial court, I read out a poem in honor of Chief Gavai. Some of them heard it. I do not know whether I would be doing a wrong by reading it once again before a larger audience. This is how it goes. Dreams unfading in the midst of matters bleak. Dreams to travel long and high. Dreams to cross roads and fences. You as youth closely held in your bosom. Determination strong, pursues unrelenting. Like Baba Sahib, the venerable maker of the Constitution, you have, in spirits great, carved a space special in the world of law and justice. For us, in no small measure to write. The world you saw in the divisions drawn with the lesser ones in social ladders. Lessons you drew on power and justice social. For better days for the powerless. Deeply etched in your mind did drive your we so strong on rule of law and powers of state. The words that became judgments from your pen, simple but appealing, logical powerhouses, doctrines constitutional and lodged deep. Your search unending for answers right. Hard cases ending as soft answers. All brought to greetings of us in chorus. By your smile so special beyond copyrights, we do say you leave us without leaving. And in defending applause of the hall so full, we wish you with all our hearts in voices one, great life with pursuits lofty, journeys new with fulfillments deep. Thank you so much for Chief Justice being with us.
Thank you, sir. There is a little surprise. Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Venkatramani, wife of Attorney General for India, has written a poem which I'll just read it out for Justice Gavai. The Tejaswini, the light of Dharma. Some souls are sent as blessings in disguise to lift our steps, to help our rise. And for Bhushan, from the very start, Tejaswini was the sacred part, the gentle dharma by his side, the quiet strength in his every stride. She walks with grace in every role, a gentle hand, Bhushan's steady soul. As a daughter, daughter-in-law, mother, and wife, she threads pure dharma through their life. For Bhushan, she became the flame that kept his purpose true to name. When paths grew hard and days grew long, her quiet faith made duty strong. Through every brief, through every test, her calm became his place of rest. She shaped his courage, eased his fear, made rough roads smooth, made his vision clear. From lawyer's partner to a judge's guide, she held his dreams by his side. And when destiny called him to lead the nation, her strength became his very foundation. Tejaswini, not one who stands in fame's bright light, yet she is the dawn behind his every night. A love so deep, a faith so true, his rise was built on what she silently grew. If today he touches heights few ever see, it is because her heart became his sanctuary. Because behind the Chief Justice, the country greets, stands a woman who carried his heartbeat. Soft in her ways, steady in her stand, she shaped the man who now shapes the land. If justice is a temple, then she is the lamp inside, steady, glowing, faithful, his ever eternal inner guide. Thank you, ma'am. I request Attorney General for India to present a small token of gift to Honorable Chief Justice of India. Attorney General. I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Bhushan Gavai, the family members of the Honorable Chief Justice of India, which is Mrs. Tejaswini Gavai and her son, Honorable Justice Suryakant, the Chief Justice of India designate, Honorable Judges of this court, the Learned Attorney General for India, the Learned Solicitor General for India, Rahul Kaushik, our Vice President, Pragya Baghel and our other EC members, Vipin Nair, President Skora, and members of the bar. Justice Gavai is the first generation Chief Justice of India of this court. And it is very, very encouraging for youngsters that his successor is also a first generation, going to be a first generation Chief Justice of India. Both of them did not have anybody in their family practicing the profession, and we'll have a succession of two Chief Justices who have not had anybody in the family in the legal profession. This is important because a lot of people say about nepotism in the profession and about elevation. If there had been nepotism, then this could never have happened. So this is something which is very important. Justice Gavai I asked him who inspired you? Because if there was nobody in the family, who inspired you? Like, I'm also first generation, but there is somebody who inspired me. So I asked him, who inspired you? He said his father himself wanted to be a lawyer. But his father, because he was also a social worker, he was involved in some movement, and he could not fulfill his own dream. So he fulfilled that dream by making his son a lawyer and asking him to join the legal profession, and Justice Gavai dutifully agreed to get into the legal profession. He started his career in the Bombay High Court and then he moved after 5 years to the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court. He was inspired in the profession by Mr. Arvind Bobde and Mr. V.R. Manohar. He was first offered elevation by none other than a Bihari, Justice B.P. Singh from Bihar. So I must mention that. Then Justice Gavai was only 39. Unfortunately, the proposal didn't go through. Then he was offered the second time formally by Justice Thakkar. That also, unfortunately, didn't go through immediately. It took almost 2 years for the proposal to get approved. And he was finally, the Chief Justice of India was Justice V.N. Khare. And these names are important because these names are the people who have ensured that we have Justice Gavai with us today as a Chief Justice of India. He was brought to the Supreme Court when Justice Gogoi, Justice Bobde, Justice Ramanna, and Justice Rohinton Nariman were part of the 5-judge collegium. Justice Gavai was not a Chief Justice of the High Court. He was third in the Bombay High Court. Justice Rohinton, we all know Justice Rohinton is very particular in ensuring that only the right people get selected. Initially, he had some reservations. But then he did his own inquiries from Bombay and from Nagpur. And when he found out about Justice Gavai and about his stellar performance and about his integrity and about the way he has been conducting himself as a judge, he immediately agreed. And that's how these 5 people brought Justice Gavai here to the Supreme Court, and ultimately he became Chief Justice of India. My first interaction with Justice Gavai was in my second term as the president of the SCBA. That time we were grappling with the collegium members, especially the Chief Justice of India, to get this auditorium for doing official functions of judges of Supreme Court. I remember we were doing the function of Justice Indu Malhotra in the garden, and it started raining. And it was an unexpected rain. So we had only one umbrella. So that umbrella we had to ultimately put only in front over Justice Indu Malhotra because she was the biggest VIP of that day. And Justice Nariman was on the dais. He did the farewell function. He almost got wet completely. This was the problem that the bar was facing. And I remember when I interacted with Justice Gavai in those times, which was I think 2021, he was surprised. He said, when the Bombay High Court gives the courtroom to bar functions, I don't understand why the auditorium cannot be given to the bar function. So that started my movement of writing letters and quoting the Bombay High Court example. And ultimately, we could get this auditorium in 2022. Of course, with this very active help of Justice Gavai. If I remember correctly, Justice Suryakant was also part of that committee. Justice Maheshwari was also part of that committee, which ultimately decided to give this auditorium to us. When Justice Gavai was 6 months before to become the Chief Justice of India, he just once casually mentioned that Chief Justice of India ban ke kya ho jata, thoda dar sa bhi lag raha hai. And lo and behold, he did not change one bit as Chief Justice of India. Whatever I knew him as a judge, he remained the same as Chief Justice of India, equally accessible, equally concerned, with the equal amount of ferocity of accepting that bar and bench are two sides of the same coin. When the chamber allotment issue was hanging fire for the last 3 years, and a problem was as to whether it should be single or double, etc. And there was a lot of divergence of view in the bar. I remember Justice Gavai, Justice Suryakant, and Justice Maheshwari, the 3 of them in, I think, 1 or 2 meetings, sorted this whole thing out, and this chamber allotment finally happened. And these chambers, which are here in this block, was ultimately allotted to lawyers. Even as Chief Justice of India, normally one feels apprehensive that he must be having a very busy schedule. So, you know, even as president of the bar, I used to think twice before ringing him up. And I tell you, I can assure you that every time I rang up, either if he didn't take up the phone within the next earliest opportunity, I used to get a phone call back, which again showed his accessibility as the Chief Justice of India. This building, I remember Mr. Ganguly, he's here present today, his car was not allowed to come to this building. And he said, because ये function में आने में हमको बहुत, we feel very insulted that हमको गाड़ी वहाँ छोड़ना पड़ता है. I took it up with Justice Gavai. I said, this is not correct. If you say that we are same parts, two sides of the same coin, then we should not be treated so shabbily. And today, Mr. Ganguly is here. He confirmed that yes, his car came right up to this building. And this also happened because of the... Justice Gavai has a phenomenal memory. And that is something we know everybody feels jealous of him about, because he can remember names, he can remember if he meets a family member, he can remember the family member as well. And he doesn't forget. So that memory is something which is phenomenal. We had the first ever marathon in Justice Gavai's tenure. What a fantastic marathon. I think in the history of Supreme Court, we never had a function like that. In the Supreme Court functions or parties, he never sat in a corner where normally judges sit. He used to always mix around with everybody. He never felt the weight of the office as either as a judge or the Chief Justice of India in feeling shy to meet people. When he became the Chief Justice of India, he immediately restored the mentioning, which was stopped earlier. He restored the letter circulation, which was a big problem of the bar. He actually truly restored the dignity of the bar, which is what we all want. Basically, as lawyers, we want only to be given a dignified, we want to be treated properly. It's not that we want our matters to be decided in our favor. We want that we should be treated properly in the process of this justice delivery, which he ensured. He restarted, because I must say Justice Lalit had started this for a while, for his short tenure when he was the Chief Justice of India, the system of collegiality, of discussing issues with the other judges before taking any major decision regarding this institution. And he restored that decision of collegiality in his tenure. This is something which is, I think, very welcome. It should happen. But unfortunately, the bar was a little bit loser in that, because when he decided to shift the museum from the place where the bar wanted, and the museum was made without consulting us, because of this collegiality, he had to go to made a committee. The committee made a report. Then it went to the full court. So if he had done the way it had been made, probably this problem would have been sorted by now. But I welcome the way in which Justice Gavai took up this issue. I mean, that's how it should be. I'm not complaining, but I'm only saying that if this collegiality he had forgotten this collegiality for a little while, probably we could have got this building back immediately. Amongst his judgments, some of those which I feel are very, very important is, of course, the bulldozer justice, where he said that just because somebody is, in conflict with law, his building should be demolished, cannot be justified. The demolition should happen with a proper show cause notice. It should happen to people uniformly in that area. Just you can't pick up one house because this person is in conflict with law and demolish his house. So that is something which was, I think, one of the fantastic things that was done, that shows the concern for the individual rights. His judgments on individual liberty, he brought back the bail is the rule and jail is the exception in this country, in this tenure. And I feel that that's something which is very salutary, because down the line, a message has gone to the high courts and to the lower courts that don't shy in giving a bail. Bail is something which should be given, normally given. It's only in very exceptional cases that bail should be denied. And this is something which is, again, a great step by Justice Gavai. Even in the Vodafone judgment, the judgment that he delivered, according to me, this whole demand was a completely bogus demand. And he gave liberty to the government to scale it down. And I think that's, again, a very great, because ultimately telecom is an infrastructure for this country, and it's like a highway. And it was never meant to earn money. It was only because the government couldn't provide for telecom itself, so they brought in the private sector. In the recent governor's judgment, the time limit, which was set by Justice Pardiwala, I think, again, I compliment all the judges of this bench, which included Justice Gavai, Justice Suryakant, Justice Vikramnath is also there. This judgment has not said that governor can hold on to a bill indefinitely. I mean, that's how the impression is being sought to be given. This judgment very categorically says that no, a governor cannot hold on, and that anguish has been expressed in this judgment. What this judgment only does is that just to fine-tune the constitutional balance, there can't be a time limit in every case. That time limit to be prescribed for a governor or a president is completely not justified, because that is disturbing the constitutional balance. And I remember a similar balance being struck by Justice Venkatacharya when he was Chief Justice of India. I remember the Manipur speaker was not obeying some orders and there was a contempt against him. And in spite of contempt, he was not obeying. So I remember in court, he told the Attorney General, next week I want so-and-so the speaker here in this court. And this was oral, mind you, no written order. The IB people went and picked up the speaker and he kept on shouting that, what are you doing, how are you arresting me, etc. They said nothing doing, they just put him in a plane, brought him here and brought him in front of the Supreme Court. The idea is that is a way of striking a balance between the various constitutional organs. The governor cannot sit on a bill indefinitely, but if he sits on a particular bill, then that is something which is justiciable, and that is how it should be, rather than putting a time limit on all bills before the governor and the president. The Reforms Tribunal judgment, which was delivered a couple of days before, I think that also restores the sanctity of a judicial determination with regard to how a reforms of the tribunalization which has happened, how they should be functioning, how their appointment should take place, how the tenure should be provided. I think all that was, again, a very, the effort of Justice Gavai in mediation, in contentious matters. I was a party in one case, a very highly contested matter, and he could ensure the parties could settle the matter. And I think that's a very salutary step, because ultimately mediation is the only method by which both sides get feeling of justice. He got our SCB members appointed and for that I compliment Justice Suryakant and Justice Vikramnath also. 3 people from our SCB were appointed recently to the High Court, and we are quite happy that this process will continue. Justice Suryakant also is on the same page with us. It's not that they will decide, but ultimately the High Court will decide, but it's a question of how to ensure that this process goes on. Justice Gavai started this. We started the tennis tournament when he came to the Supreme Court, and he had started playing tennis. That is one commonality, because I also play tennis. So we had this tennis tournament for 3 years where he came to the DLTA for this tournament and played the tournament also. Justice Sundaresh used to also play, and Justice Sundaresh, in spite of not playing for 30 years, has got an amazing game. I really, Justice Manmohan also played this time. I don't think he's here. The other judgment which I want to mention about is the creamy layer in the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. That again is a very salutary judgment, very important for ensuring that the purpose of reservation percolates to the real needy ones and doesn't confine to a few within the needy. So I think it's again a fantastic judgment, fantastic thought. And these are all judgments. I can go on and on, but ultimately we have a limitation of time. So I thought I'll just flag some of these judgments. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India Designate, to deliver his address.
Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai, Hon'ble the Chief Justice of India, respected Dr. Tejaswini Gavai, my brother and sister judges from the Supreme Court of India, Honorable former judges of the Supreme Court of India, Shri R. Venkat Ramani, learned Attorney General for India, Shri Tushar Mehta, learned Solicitor General of India, a team of learned Additional Solicitor Generals of India and other law officers, present here, Shri Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate and President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Shri Rahul Kaushik, Senior Advocate and Vice President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Ms. Pragya Bhageil, Secretary and other office bearers and members of the Executive Committee of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Vipin Nair, President SCORA, Mr. Amit Sharma, Vice President, Mr. Nikhil Jain, Secretary and other office bearers of the SCORA, distinguished senior advocates and members of the Supreme Court Bar Association, very respected ladies and gentlemen, we gather today on an occasion that stirs both pride and a quiet ache. Pride because we celebrate a remarkable judicial journey that has enriched this institution, and ache because bid farewell to a Chief Justice who has touched each one of us not only with his intellect but with his gentleness, his candor, and his deeply human presence. Chief Justice Gavai has been a pillar of this court, steadfast, compassionate, and unwavering in his dedication to constitutional values. His tenure stands as a testament to humility in power, clarity in purpose, and grace in responsibility. He has guided the institution through challenges with a steady hand and a kind heart, preferring harmony over assertion and consensus over confrontation. His judgments bear the mark of not just intellectual rigor, but an unwavering attentiveness to the person behind every case file. For him, the litigant was never an abstraction. For him, every dispute represented someone's hope, someone's struggle, someone's search for justice. It was this sensitivity that shaped his reasoning, enriched his perspective, and lent his decisions a moral clarity that touched everyone who read them. But more than his judgments, it is the tone he set that defines his legacy, namely gentle, inclusive, and deeply human. He reassured the bar. He inspired young judges, and he restored in many the faith that the Supreme Court is not only a place of law, but also a place of consensus. For this, the institution stands in gratitude before you, Justice Gavai. If I were to choose one defining quality, it would be his instinctive ability to heal divides between differing perspectives, between administrative expectations, and occasionally between competing constitutional values. He believed that institutions grow through dialogue, empathy, and trust, not through rigidity or distance. Under his stewardship, we witnessed a strengthening of institutional harmony, quicker resolution of long-standing bottlenecks, and a culture of respect and mutual assurance among all stakeholders. His leadership, patient, balanced, and quietly persuasive, will remain an institutional memory for years to come. At the ceremonial bench early today, I spoke very briefly about my long association with Chief Justice Gavai, but words often fall short of emotions that have grown over 2 decades of friendship. I must actually share with you all that After our first meeting, somewhere in 2003 or 2004 in Delhi, in 2005 in Delhi, yes, I and my wife, we went to Aurangabad somewhere in the year 2009. My both school-going daughters, very baby children, they had gone abroad, and we both landed in Aurangabad and reached the circuit house. I had not even unpacked my luggage when I got a message that one Justice Bhushan Gavai has come to meet. And when he came, he immediately commanded that you will not unpack your luggage, you immediately put it in car, you will be staying at my home. I think that 1 week we spent together, we visited several places in one Innova, and we had very fond, memorable memories and events which we always cherish and relish when we talk as and when we get an opportunity. This gesture, so characteristic of his generosity, was the beginning of a long-standing friendship. Fate has its own ways of reaffirming such bonds. We were elevated to the Supreme Court on the same day, 24th May of 2019, and since then, life has allowed us the privilege of walking this path together by sharing benches, sharing thoughts, sharing dilemmas, and often sharing quiet moments of understanding that only colleagues and friends can truly appreciate. In all our deliberations, I found him in a clarity, unburdened by ego, an ability to listen without prejudice, and a profound awareness of how judicial decisions touch real human lives. These very qualities that made him not just respected by colleagues, but genuinely admired. As Justice Gavai demits office, I am not only bidding farewell to the Chief Justice of India, I am bidding adieu to a companion of many years, a guide whose words often steadied me, and a friend whose warmth and sincerity enriched my own journey. I will miss our conversations, those on law, on life, and sometimes on nothing in particular. I will miss his calm strength, his instinctive fairness, and his quiet humor that listened even the heaviest days, that lightened all the heaviest moments inside and outside the courtrooms. In the demanding world of judicial work, it is rare to find someone who brings both compassion and clarity to every interaction. In Justice Gavai, I found that rare presence. His departure leaves a void, both personal and institutional, but it also leaves behind a legacy that will continue to enliven me. Justice Gavai, for you, रुखसत के वक्त भी छोड़ जाते हैं कुछ निशान, रुखसत के वक्त भी छोड़ जाते हैं कुछ निशान, कुछ लोग कदम से नहीं असूलों से पहचाने जाते हैं. He leaves behind such footprints made not with authority but with values. As I look ahead, my thoughts naturally turn to the bar with hope, with expectations, and with confidence. The Supreme Court Bar Association and the bar at large carry the immense responsibility of sustaining the dignity of the institution. Expectations are high because your role is foundational. Your discipline, integrity, and commitment to constitutional duty shape not just outcomes, but the character of the court itself. The independence of the bench, mind you, thrives only when the bar stands fearless. Access to justice expands only when the bar remains human, and institutional growth happens only when we walk together with trust. As I prepare to assume the responsibilities ahead, I draw strength from the example set by my brother Justice Gavai. I am actually aware and am consciously and acutely know this fact that this office demands patience, balance, foresight, and above all, a willingness to listen, all qualities he displayed with natural ease. I assure the bar that your concerns will be heard, your suggestions welcomed, and your role respected. Our institution is strongest when the bench, the bar, and the registry function not as separate pillars, but as a shared guardianship of constitutional values. Chief Justice Gavai, on behalf of the Supreme Court, the bar, and the wider legal family, I extend my deepest respect and heartfelt gratitude. As you step into the next chapter of your life, may it be filled with peace, joy, and the quiet satisfaction of having served the nation with dignity and distinction. Your contributions will continue to guide us, your values will continue to inspire us, and your presence, your warmth, your fairness, your humanity will remain forever woven into the institutional fabric of this court. Closing, to the bar, to my colleagues, and to all present here, let us move forward with the same spirit of compassion, cooperation, and constitutional fidelity that Brother Gavai exemplified. That is the finest tribute we all can offer to him. Thank you very much. Thank you for being this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Honorable Mr. Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai, Honorable Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his farewell address. I request everyone to stand up, give an ovation before Justice Gavai give his speech. Standing ovation to Justice Gavai. Thank you.
My esteemed colleague, the Chief Justice of India designate, Honorable Justice Suryakant, the only sister and brother judges from the Supreme Court, the judges from various high courts present here, Shri Venkatramani, the learned Attorney General for India, Shri Tushar Mehta, the Solicitor General of India, the learned Additional Solicitor Generals, Shri Vikas Singh, the President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Rahul Kaushik, Vice President, Pragya Baghel, the Secretary, Shri Vipin Nair, the President of the SCORA and all the office bearers of the SCORA, my wife, Dr. Tejaswini, Sangeeta Bhavi, the Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University, Shubha Bhavi, all the learned senior advocates present here. Justice Verma, the former Justice of the Supreme Court, is also here. Shri Mungate, the Secretary General of the Supreme Court, and all other members of the registry. Shri Parashar, OSD, will be taking over as the Secretary General. The lawyers present here from Amravati, Nagpur, Aurangabad, and Mumbai, and members of the Supreme Court Bar Association. A very good evening to all of you. It's a great pleasure to be standing before you on the last working day. As a matter of fact, the last working day was yesterday. Today only we dealt with 5 transfer matters. So when I demit my office and hand over the mantle to my dear friend, Justice Suryakant, as I said in the morning, this is a moment for expression of gratitude for all the love and affection that all of you have showered upon me in the last 41 years. I rose from a very humble background, though subsequently I did not have to face those handicaps. But initially, as Mr. Vikas Singh said, my father had engaged himself in Dr. Ambedkar's movement at a very young age. And therefore, when I was born, I started studying in a municipal school in a semi-slum area. And that time, I could not even dream that I will reach the position where I am today. As a matter of fact, when I had passed my 10th and I had gone to Nepanagar, which was one of the first public undertakings, my aunt used to reside there. I was there to spend my summer vacation, and we were just, it is a beautiful industrial town as our planned cities. There were beautiful bungalows for the managers, deputy managers, and sales managers. So when I used to move with my cousins, the only dream that I had that one day I will occupy one of such bungalows as a manager or so. Little I did dream that when I visit there as a judge of the Supreme Court, the chairman cum managing director would be there to receive me on the borders of the city. So I must be grateful to the destiny, grateful to my parents, and grateful to the Constitution of India, which has made this impossible thing possible. My father, as I already said, was an ardent follower of Dr. Ambedkar, and therefore, right from childhood, the values of Constitution have been embedded in my mind right from beginning. As a matter of fact, there was an occasion, as Mr. Singh said, that I came into legal profession only because of my father, and it was his choice. Later on, there was possibility that I would have followed him in politics, but I am again grateful to the destiny that in 1990 something happened. I chose to concentrate fully on practice and leave other interests. My mother imbibed the principles of hard work and virtues of dignity of labor, dignity of any work, and therefore those virtues, those values which have been imbibed by my parents, I would always be grateful to them. I had been a lawyer for 18 years and a judge for 22 years and 6 days. On 24th, I will be completing 22 years and 10 days. And this journey of more than 40 years, I've always been guided by the Constitution. Even as a lawyer, the virtues of equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity were always close to my heart. As I said in the morning, I am an ardent student of the Constitution and have read the constitutional debates in somewhat detail, and I was always inspired by the speeches made by Dr. Ambedkar, the first one on 4th of December 1948, in which he explains the principles of the Constitution and the next one on 25th of November 1949, wherein he replies to all the amendments which were moved and opposed and passed in the Constitution. And therefore, the warning that he had given in his speech on 25th of November 1949, that unless we remove the social and economic inequalities and take a step forward to or march towards achieving social and economic justice along with political justice, the edifice of democracy which we had so laboriously built would fall like a house of cards. And therefore, in my journey as a lawyer and thereafter as a judge, I always tried to stand by these principles. As a judge, when I took oath on 14th of November 2003 as a judge of the High Court, in my journey as a judge, I have always attempted to be true to my oath as given under the Constitution. I'm happy that my journey of last 40 years has been very satisfactory. As I said in the morning, I'm fully content, fully satisfied. The subjects of social and economic justice and environment were always close to my heart, even when I was a lawyer. As a junior lawyer, I used to represent the BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society, and we could get many orders from the Supreme Court, from the High Court for protection of the Pench Tiger Reserve or the Tadoba Tiger Reserve. And I'm happy to share that the matter with regard to resettlement of the first village in Tadoba Tiger Reserve, I had an occasion to deal with it as a government bidder. And as a coincidence, the last of such villages was resettled when I was in the Supreme Court under my orders as a Supreme Court judge. In last 3 years, when I've been presiding over the environment bench, I could get an opportunity to deliver at least 18 judgments pertaining to environment, and in these 3 years, we must have passed in different combinations with not less than 100 orders in order to protect environment, ecology, and the wildlife. As a matter of fact, the first judgment which I delivered in court number 1 was with regard to environment. Justice Masi was with me. A prime piece of land in the city of Pune was illegally allotted by politicians to a builder's firm, which was reserved forest. And we directed the said land to be restored to the forest department and to be utilized only for the conservation and maintenance of the forest. In fact, we provided for green lungs to the citizens of Pune. And incidentally, the last judgment which I pronounced yesterday in court number 1 was with regard to protection of Aravalli Hills and Aravalli Ranges, which act as a barrier for desertation from Thar Desert. Otherwise, if Aravalli goes, Delhi will turn to desert. Though one of my judgments has been criticized, I did not find it necessary to refer to that criticism or answer it, because I think that what I have done over the last 3 years, it's a testament to it. As Ms. Bhatti, I don't know whether she is there in the morning, said that I have passed various orders dealing with whilst in the court and outside the court. Again, the issue with regard to social justice was very much dear to my heart. In 2000, when I was a government leader, Justice Sandurkar would be aware about it, and of course Justice Varade. One of the judges in Nagpur had passed an order, a division bench, that all slums in Nagpur should be demolished within a period of 1 week. It would have led to a huge law and order problem, and the then the Chief Minister, Mr. Vilasa Deshmukh, he requested me to challenge that order. Fortunately, we challenged it. The collector was facing a contempt. If he did not demolish the slums within 1 week, he would be behind the bars. Mr. Vikas Singh has referred to BP Singh. So before a bench of Justice Santosh Hegde and BP Singh, we could get that order straight. And again, a coincidence that in 2025, when I authored a judgment with regard to Dhudpi jungles in the Vidarbha area, while ensuring a balance between protection of forest and restoration of ecology, we could pass an order regularizing those houses built on the slums. This is a sense of satisfaction while sitting with Justice Vishwanathan. We had authored a bulldozer justice judgment, properly known as I said in Shushu's one of the Friday lectures, that normally a credit of the judgment goes to the author, but it's not correct. Behind a judgment, one judgment, many minds work. It's a cumulative effect of the hard work undertaken by all the judges, their law clerks, the researchers. One of the most important judgments that I consider with regard to importance of rule of law, I would be satisfied that we could deliver the set popularly known as bulldozer justice or demolition justice. We had held that right to shelter is a fundamental right, and merely because somebody is suspected, or even for that matter, somebody is convicted, his family who are dependent, who are residing in that house, cannot be thrown away, their houses cannot be demolished. One of the judgments to which Mr. Vikas Singh referred was with regard to subclassification and creamy layer. I've been very severely criticized in my community with regard to that judgment. Fortunately, 3 of my colleagues who supported my view are sitting here, Justice Vikramnath, Justice Mittal, and Justice Satish Sharma. Though it's not expected of a judge to defend his judgment, but since now I don't have to perform any judicial work, the last of the orders about which Justice Vinod Chandra was worried are all signed. I gave an example as to whether a son of a chief secretary studying in the best of colleges in Delhi, St. Stephens, can he be made to compete with the son of an agricultural laborer studying in a Gram Panchayat or a Jilla Parishad school? Article 14, to which we are so much imbibed, it believes in equality, but equality doesn't mean equal treatment to all. Dr. Ambedkar said that if we give equal treatment to all, rather than reducing inequality, it will lead to further inequality. And therefore, a special treatment to those who are lagging behind is what the equality concept requires to be done. I ask a question to myself as to whether a person residing in a tribal area belonging to a scheduled caste category, having no means to higher education, can he be made to compete with my son, who, because of his father's office and father's achievements, is entitled to best of the schooling and best of the education? Would it be equality in a real sense, or would it permeate inequality? However, At times, the politics plays more important role than the logic. But I am happy that when I penned down that judgment, one of my law clerks, who was the son of who is the son of a senior officer in Maharashtra and belonging to scheduled caste, he was saying that, sir, all the while this issue troubled me as to I am getting the best of the education and why should I get the benefits of scheduled caste? And he said that hereinafter I will not take any benefits of scheduled caste. So that one boy understood what the politicians refused to understand, or for the reasons best known to them. Liberty is another one of the pillars of the Constitution, which is close to my heart. In one case, when Brother Vishwanathan's daughter was having her Arangetram, in Chinmay Mission, the then Chief Justice of India was just walking outside the court, coming back, again going back 2-3 times. And ultimately, when there was a break for the snacks, he called me whether you would be willing to go to the court and there is an important matter. He asked Justice Dipankar Datta, Justice Bopanna, and all of us came to court at around 9:30. Tushar Bhai was there, fully charged. And I was surprised as to when a person was given an interim bail by the High Court, by this court, the learned judge had refused to give a protection even for 48 hours. The order was passed on Saturday morning and intervening Saturday and Sunday. So in such matters, if the Supreme Court does not interfere, then can it have a right to be called as a custodian of liberty of the citizens? There are other matters. I don't want to name any case. In those matters, Tushar Bhai was not there. Mr. Raju has, I think he has left for abroad. He was there in the morning. And we had the pleasure of listening to the arguments on various occasions. I think in first matter, Sandeep Bhai was there. So we asked a question to ourselves as to whether a person in a prolonged incarceration, without there being a possibility of the trial being commencing in the near future, could he be incarcerated for such a long period? And could a prolonged incarceration without a trial could be permitted to be a sentence without a trial? And therefore we held that the right under Article 21 is a supervening right rather than the restrictions under the statutory provision. In the recent matter in which the learned attorney was appearing, and he was somewhat, we had some awkward situations, but there was nothing personal. And we have held that the independence of judiciary is one of the basic facets of one of the basic features of the Constitution, and this, even insofar as tribunals are concerned, they are part of the judicial systems and their independence cannot be compromised with. There are cases and cases. I would not like to refer to many of them. We are already on a Friday evening, and after a miscellaneous day, all of you must be tired. As Rahul and Vikas Singh ji said, that I always believe that bar and bench are two wheels of the golden chariot of the institution of judiciary. None inferior, none superior. As a matter of fact, the bar is the mother of judges. It is the bar who gives the judges to the institution. Mr. Vikas Singh ji has been very kind to Justice Suryakant. He has not raised any of the demands today. But when, I think you will have to wait when you are felicitated after you take oath. So when I was felicitated by Mr. Vikas Singh, almost after I completed half of my tenure as the Chief Justice, he started making demands, and I asked him, you don't have to wait when you have a Chief Justice before whom you don't have to make any demands. Is it necessary for you? So he has already referred to what I, Justice Suryakant, Justice Maheshwari did in respect of chambers, in respect of this auditorium. I would not like to repeat them. The learned Solicitor General has given me a very long list of whatever we have done in furtherance to the demands of the bar. If I go on reading that, it will be, I think it will consume time. And I don't think that there is a dissent by Mr. Vikas Singh or Rahul or Pagna that we have in fact accepted most of the demands of the bar. And doing that, we are not doing any favor to the bar, because the bar is an integral part of this institution. As a matter of fact, when you were on the building committee, or rather when I was the chairman of the infrastructure committee of the Bombay High Court, I had ensured that whenever the building plans are finalized, the representatives of the bar should be taken on board. And the buildings are not only for the judges, the buildings are for the judges, the buildings are for the lawyers, and buildings are also for the litigants for whom the system exists. They cannot be prepared in a manner that the litigants' care is not taken. When I led foundation for the new Bombay High Court building about 2-3 weeks back, I said that we don't require 7-star hotels. We require the buildings to be constructed in such a manner that the litigant should feel that it is for him. The litigant should not get overawed by the grandeur of the building. He should feel that the building belongs to him, the institution belongs to him, and the system belongs to him. On the administrative side, I must say that the collegium, both or 3 judges collegium and 5 judges collegium, including Justice Suryakant, Justice Vikramnath, Justice Maheshwari, and Justice Nagaratna, all our collegium meetings were in a very congealed manner. I think our collegium meetings did not take place for more than an hour or so. We have been successful in appointing more than 107 judges to the various high courts. Particularly, I am happy for my own high court, as well as Justice Vikramnath is happy for his Allahabad High Court, and Justice Maheshwari and Justice Satish Sharma are happy for their Madhya Pradesh High Court. The substantial increase, Rajasthan High Court, Sandeep Bhai and Vijay Bhai. The substantial increase in the strength of these high courts, I'm getting reports from all the high courts that lawyers are so happy. Today, the lawyers from Aurangabad, Nagpur, Kolhapur, the new bench, about which I am really happy. I always believed that the decentralization of justice is necessary. The litigants from the furthermost corners of the Western Maharashtra were required to travel to Mumbai. In Mumbai, you know, it's difficult to find accommodation. The hotels are costly and the lawyers are more costly. And I'm happy that within a short period of 3 months, the Kolhapur bench has been functioning very efficiently. The disposal ratio has increased. The lawyers from all the 6 districts can travel to Kolhapur and after finishing their matters, come back. I could not have completed my journey successfully without the contribution of all my colleagues, the past and the present. The senior colleagues gave me opportunities to learn the law, to write the judgments. As a matter of fact, when I came here, or anybody who comes from High Court, various subjects are new. Electricity, IBC, even arbitration, we have a limited scope in the High Courts. I was said in the morning, two of my colleagues have been teachers in two different capacities. Earlier as the members of the bar, and later on as the colleagues on the bench. I always believed that sitting with colleagues is an process of mutual learning. We learn from each other, and it's that system from learning from each other which fosters the delivery that we do for effecting justice. In the short period of 6 months, I could preside over 3 constitution benches. Insofar as the first one is concerned, I had developed a practice of immediately after the hearings are over, we would all sit together and discuss. So insofar as the first bench is concerned, we were all on the same page, and it was decided that we'll commonly take such and such view. Justice Sundaresh wanted to do justification to his lawyer clerks because they had done a lot of hard work on the constitutional silences, and therefore he penned separate but concurring opinion. In other 2 constitution benches, we are not on the same page on the first day, but we had meetings once, twice, thrice, and ultimately the dialogic process and the consultative process led to the coming to the same page. And therefore, I am really grateful to all my colleagues who have immensely contributed in what I am today. As I said, while delivering in both the constitution benches, some of our colleagues have contributed more, but in deference to their wishes that we should speak in one volume, we could not disclose their names. I'm also grateful to the registry because the judges of the Supreme Court are the face. The judgments are given in their name. But it is the entire staff of the Supreme Court, the registry of the Supreme Court, even from the bottom court attendant to the Registrar General, who work tirelessly for effective administration of justice. I'm happy to share that whenever I've met lawyers, everybody has told me that in the last 6 months, the process of listing has substantially improved. Whatever difficulties were there are tried to be reduced. I'd also introduced the oral mentioning, and after introduction, after some time, prevented the senior lawyers from participating in the mentioning. I always believe that it is our duty to nurture the younger bar. They are the future of the institution of judiciary. Unless they are nurtured, unless they are given opportunity, we can't expect them to effectively strengthen the institution of justice. I must also place on record the wonderful work done by our CPR, the Center for Research, or Anurag and his team have really worked, published various publications. I must not forget my law clerks, 18 in number, from Shriram to Arya, all of whom have immensely contributed because unless you have a strong team of law clerks, which I sometimes envy. I think Justice Vishwanathan, Justice Narasimha, and Justice Sundaresh, constitutional silences. So unless we have such a strong team, we cannot effectively function. They work as more than, or at least as much as the judges work. Unfortunately, we have lost a young member from our team, Yashraj, a very promising young boy at a very young age, a couple of months back. As I was discussing with Mr. Vikas Singh, it is the family of the judges or even the lawyers who suffers the most. You can't give time to your family as required, and therefore I must place on record my gratitude to my wife, Dr. Tejaswini, my daughter Karishma, and son Jyotiraditya. I always had a grievance from my wife that there was no weekend I spent here. Friday afternoon or evening I used to travel back, and Sunday night I used to come back. And all these weekends for last 2 or 3 years, while traveling out of Delhi, I had a judgment to correct, and while traveling back to Delhi, the files to be read on the iPad. And I think her grievance was justified, but I'm sure that now, tomorrow onwards, I will have more time to spend with the family. I did not know that Vijayalakshmi ji would take Tushar Bhai so seriously. In fact, Tushar Bhai had asked me to pen down a poem for Tejaswini. I told him that I don't have that capability. I would have had to take some help from Justice Varade. But I didn't know that. I knew that Mr. Venkatramani is a great poet, but I didn't know that Vijayalakshmi ji is also equally equipped. So they are a perfect match for each other. I, on behalf of Tejaswini, thank you, Vijayalakshmi ji, for writing such a wonderful poem. I will have much more time from the Monday. Not Monday, from tomorrow itself. Yeah, why Monday? Yesterday, I was wondering that I will have a very peaceful sleep because I had nothing to read. I had finished my correction of orders by 8 o'clock. But then I had disturbed sleep. So my wife was saying that your mind is now tuned to judgments and work. But I am sure that the migration will take place and I will be more happy. In the morning, Mr. Raju Ramchandran said that I should not go for arbitration way or commercial way, and I should go for a public life. I'm yet to think about anything. First, I want to give some rest to me. And one thing I have in my mind is that the tribals in my own district, Melghat district, are very close to me. Whenever I used to be a part of my father's election campaign till I became a judge in 2003. I certainly would like to do some work for the tribals in the I'm really grateful to the love and affection of all my colleagues, all my lawyer colleagues, not only from the Supreme Court, but from wherever I went to. I have received a lot of affection and love from the bar at Amravati, the bar at Nagpur, the bar at Aurangabad, the bar at Goa, and of course, the bar at Mumbai. The judges are like a family, and I have received a lot of affection, warmth from the judges and their families. In fact, some of the judges' families are a family for me, including their children. And therefore, as I said in the morning, that when I handle the mantle to one of my dearest friends, ablest friends, and we have a line of succession right from Justice Vikram Nath, and then our First Lady CJI, and so on. I think we know now who is in line till, I think, 32, 33. And as a member of the Collegium, as a Chief Justice, I think all 5 of us have a pride that we have brought in a person who will be there till 30. For everybody, for every Chief Justice, I think he desires that there should be someone in his tenure who will become a CJI subsequently. So, thank you very much. I will remain always grateful to you. Before I end, I will only take 2 more minutes. My father had imbibed a value in me since my childhood. He said that if you can do something good for someone, then do it. But if you can't do good to someone, but don't do anything harmful to anyone, not to your enemy. As I started practice, one of the first things that I did was to buy Lord Denning's Connection. And as I said in the morning, I was also inspired by his teachings. I won't repeat them what I said in the morning. But Lord Denning, in one of his books, has referred to a few words of John Wesley. I'll only read them. I quote, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can." I have tried to follow these principles. I have tried to follow my father's teachings. I don't know how successful I've been in this. For a judge, the bar is a judge. Today is my judgment day. I don't know what is the verdict. Thank you very much.
Sir, as you bid farewell, it's difficult to say goodbye, but it is also a moment filled with respect and gratitude. To present a memento on behalf of the Supreme Court Bar, I request the Vice President Supreme CBA and entire EC to come on the dais to present a memento to the Honorable Chief Justice of India. अच्छा अगली बार से चलो मुझे क्या पता। Now I request Mr. Minesh Dubey, Joint Secretary SCBA, to deliver vote of thanks.
The judgment by the bar is loud and clear. Honorable Mr. Justice B.R. Gavai, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Surikant, Chief Justice of India Designate, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Sri R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, Sri Vikas Singh, President, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President, Ms. Pragya Baghel, Honorary Secretary SCBA, Senior Advocates, Members of the Bar. On behalf of the entire bar, it is my privilege to extend a vote of thanks and heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai. Sir, one thing I want to say in the beginning that all the praises today in the speeches are from the heart of the bar. Sir, your tenure has been marked by unwavering integrity, humility, and deep commitment to the core values of our Constitution. A true believer in equality and justice for all, your secular outlook shines through both in life and judgment, firmly declaring himself truly secular and compassion for all religions, drawing inspiration from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and his own family's inclusive traditions. Your approach to every matter displayed fairness, reason, and the moral courage that builds public trust in the judiciary. Despite the responsibilities of high office, Justice Gavai always remained accessible to members of the bar, extending support and encouragement at every step. Sir, the golden era for the bar began during your time as Chief Justice, a legacy of excellence and fairness that will continue under the leadership of Honorable Mr. Justice Surikant, Chief Justice of India Designate. Justice Surikant is known for his wisdom, dedication, and balanced judgment, and we look forward to his continued guidance in strengthening our judiciary and bar. In the presence of Honorable Justice Surikant, Chief Justice of India Designate, we express our gratitude for Justice Gavai's leadership and wish him continued happiness and good health. Thank you, sir, for your exemplary services, for upholding the dignity of this court, and for inspiring us with your secularism and humility. We are thankful to Dr. Tejaswini Gavai, wife of Justice Gavai. Thanks, madam, for coming. Son Jyotiraditya, Dr. Sangeeta Srivastav, madam, wife of Justice Vikram Nath, and Mrs. Subha Sundresh, wife of Justice M.M. Sundresh, for gracing the occasion. I am also thankful to Justice Deepak Verma, former Judge Supreme Court of India, for coming, sir. Thank you, sir. We are deeply thankful Sri Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India, and other law officers, legal nominees, senior advocates, present and former office bearer of SCBA, members of the bar who joined us today. Your presence adds immense value to this celebration. I also extend my sincere thanks to Sri Vipin Nair, President, Sri Amit Sharma, Vice President, Sri Nikhil Jain, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Kaustubh Shukla, Joint Secretary, SCORA. I extend my sincere thanks to Learned Secretary General Sri Shekhar Mugante, Mr. Bharat Parasar, Secretary General OSD, Mr. Kuntal Sharma Pathak, Registrar Admin, and other registrars of the Supreme Court and members of the media for their coverage and support. I request all of you to kindly join us for high tea on second floor and ground floor. Thank you very much.